Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I will show you how I colored one of my latest drawings, which is a study of one of Asia Laduska's art on Pinterest. The program I use is Clip Studio Paint Pro, but everything I show in this video should apply to any drawing program you have. The first step is applying flat colors. So I start by creating a new folder that I name Color. Make sure that your color folder is under the line art folder. This way, the colors that you apply will not hide your drawing but show under it. Inside this color folder, I will create a new folder for each element of my drawing. So one folder for the hair, one for the glasses, one for the skin, one for the scarf, one for the coat. This way, nothing gets mixed and it's easier to add shading to each element separately and add different effects. Now, how do I apply flat colors? I will show you two techniques that I know. The first one is to select the drawing and fill it with a color. And then, for each element, create a new layer and clip it to that selection. So I will now create a new layer inside my color folder that I will name Selection. And then I will use the magic wand with the option Refer to all layers. Then I will click on the empty background, and as you can see, it's selecting the border of the canvas and the outline of my drawing, which means it's only selecting the background. And now I can choose Invert Selected Area to now have only what's inside of my drawing. If your background is already filled with details or a drawing, you will have to select the elements separately. For example, if I click on the coat, then I will need to press Shift to select the scarf. Or you can select here in the selection mode, Add to Selection. But it's faster for me to select the background and invert the selection. Now I will zoom in to fix the selection. As you can see, between the hair strands, there's a space, but it got selected. So to remove anything that you don't want inside of your selection, here in selection mode, you can choose Remove from Selection. So now when you select a space that you don't want, it gets removed from your selection. Once you are okay with the selection that you have, you can select a color to fill your drawing. I like to choose a grayish color, whether it's blue, green, or purple. And then with the bucket tool here, you can fill your whole selection. So since we will be clipping layers to our selection, I will move the selection layer down in my color folder for it to be the last one. So now that the selection is filled, you have to make a new layer in each of these folders and clip them to the selection. So I will show you what clipping does. So now I created a new layer and I will color it in a random color, just random color. Now the layer is not clipped, it's just a normal layer. Now if I try to color the hair, I can easily go out of the line. But if I click here, under the normal you see here, there's a clipped layer below. If I click on it, everything that was outside of the line disappeared. So now I can easily color inside of the hair. If I unclip it, you see all the color that's outside of the line. And also, to make sure that your layer is clipped properly, you have to see this pink, red, bright color next to your layer. That means that it is clipped to the one below. So let's start with the skin color. So I will create a layer inside of my skin folder. We'll call it color. And now to clip this layer to the selection, since this layer is inside a folder, I clip it, you see that it is gray. And if I try to color, the clipping doesn't work. So for this, since it is inside of a folder, you can clip the actual folder to the selection. Now if I color, it doesn't go out. Now you can follow this method to color each element of your drawing. If you like my video so far, please subscribe and click on the bell button to be notified of my future uploads. Now before I show you the second technique, I'll give you some tips regarding the colors in Clip Studio. Now, if you look down here, this section is related to the colors that you choose for your drawing. You have different tabs like the color history, and if you click on the second one, it's called color set. And if you open this window here, you see all these sets that Clip Studio created. But you can also make your own color set. If you click on Edit Color Sets, you can choose Create New Set. And now you have all this space to add the colors that you want. It's very useful to save colors that you choose for your drawing. So let's say you want to save this color that's selected right now. You can just click on Add Color and you'll see it here. And if you change your mind and you don't like the color anymore, you can replace it by another one. If you select the color here, and then you choose another one in the color wheel, then you can click Replace Color, or you can also delete it. Another useful trick is that you can name each color. Now if I hover over the color, you only see the numbers related to that color's name. But if I right click, I can change the color's name. So let's say this was the color for her coat, so I can name it coat. And now when I hover over it, I'll see that it is called coat, and I'll know that it's the color that I chose for her coat. So for this drawing, I already have a color set that I made before. And the first color here is the one I chose for the skin. So to erase everything that's on the layer, you just need to press delete. So to color flat colors, I usually choose either the G pen or the mapping pen. It gives around the same result. And I set the size to something quite big, like 100 or around it. So since we have hair and scarf that touches the face and covers a part of it, it's okay to go over the hair or the scarf because this is the first layer. You can then either erase the color that's outside of the face, or you can just cover it with when you color the scarf and the hair. So you don't need to be very precise for the first layer. You just need to cover everything. And we can fix it later. Then, if I go and color the hair, you'll see that it covers what was it covers the skin color that got outside of the lines, so you don't need to necessarily erase it. But when you color the hair, you'll have to be very careful not to go outside of the lines because we already colored the skin. So this is how usually color each element when I follow the first technique. Now I will show you the second one. So the second technique is a bit faster because you don't need to make a selection, you just need to use the fill tool, and you won't need to color each element by hand like I just did right now. So I will erase what I colored right now and remove the clippings, so we won't need to clip any layers too, since there won't be any selection. Hide the selection, so you can hide the layer with the little eye icon here. So to use the fill tool to color your drawing, you first need to set your line art to a reference layer. So for the reference layer, it's next to the clipping button. It looks like a small lighthouse. You have to see the icon here. That means your layer was set as a reference. If you don't see the icon, it means it wasn't set properly. Then you make your layer where you want to color. So if I want to color the skin, go my skin layer color. And then I choose the color I want for the skin. And when I click on the fill tool, choose refer other layers, and then down here in the tool property, I don't touch any of these properties, but you go down, you'll see refer multiple. By default it's set to all layers, but you have to set it to reference layer. That means it's going to color based on your line art. So if I click on the face, it's going to fill only the face that was drawn. So as you can see, it only fills inside the line art. This technique is faster, but you need to zoom in to make sure that all the little spots are covered. There are some areas that are harder to color than others, but you can go over it with the pen. Now the face is done, and you didn't go over the lines, so it's very fast and easier than the first technique. However, some people find it very soothing to color by hand, so that's why some prefer the first technique and some will prefer the second one. Here I finished applying flat colors following the first technique that I showed you. I don't like having black eyebrows and brown hair, so I'm going to color the eyebrows dark brown. So once the line art layer is selected, I'm going to choose Lock Transparent Pixels. This behaves the same way as a clip and mask, but instead of needing two layers, it affects the selected one. It will prevent me from coloring anything else than the line art. So for example, if I choose a bright color, you're going to see that only the line art is colored. I'm going to choose that technique to color it brown. So I'm going to choose a small brush size so that I don't color the glasses around the eyebrows and the hair strands. If you kept each element of each feature of the face on a separate layer for the line art, like the eyebrows, the nose, the eyes, all on different layers for your line art, it will be way easier to just select eyebrows, but I drew everything on the same layer, which isn't a good idea. So don't be afraid to use a lot of layers when making your drawings. This is it for the first part of this tutorial. In the next video, I will show you how I shaded this drawing. Thank you for watching and see you next time!